Straight ahead on CCX News, bitterly cold temperatures prompt frostbite warnings and many people trying to find things to do indoors. Plus, police released surveillance pictures of two cars that were near a jewelry store in Osseo when it was burglarized earlier this month. And it's the end of a chapter.
That's Dale. He wants this to be a friendly, family sort of place.
After 4 decades, the owner of a Robbinsdale hardware store retires. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. The Osseo Police Department is asking for the public's help in solving 2 recent burglaries.
They caught 2 cars on a surveillance camera around the time of the burglary. They hope someone will recognize the cars. You might remember back on December 11th, crooks burglarized the jeweler's workbench and a photography studio next door. The suspects broke down a door to gain access. They then hauled away a heavy safe, cameras, and other items. Meanwhile, police are trying to get in contact with the owners of these 2 vehicles, a white Nissan Altima and a white Saturn Vue. They were seen near the businesses when the crimes occurred. If you have any information, you're asked to call Osseo Police. The jeweler's workbench had to permanently close after the crime because they did not have insurance.
Bitter cold weather has a grip on the Northwest Metro. At mid-morning, a New Hope weather watcher says it was 5 degrees below zero. As Eric Nelson reports, for some people, this means avoiding the outdoors and finding indoor options.
We're getting that Arctic plunge again that we do get. It just lasts sometimes for a number of days.
The Polar Express has arrived, and this frigid weather is going to stick around for a while.
Looks like we're going to have below zero the rest of this year into the new year.
Christmas 2017 goes down in the record books as the coldest in a couple of decades in the Northwest Metro.
Yeah, going back to 1996, and that year was the coldest in my record, dating back to the mid-50s. It was 19 below that morning.
On a typical winter day, this hockey rink in Brooklyn Park would be filled with skaters, but it's so cold, it's empty. That was also the case at Maple Grove Central Park, where the normally popular skating loop was a frozen ghost town.
You need to be careful. You don't want to have too much exposed skin, and if it tends to get windier, then you've got more of a problem.
As for snow, there isn't even enough of the white stuff to go sledding on area hills.
So far we haven't had much snowfall. As you can see, we've got about 2 inches on the ground right now.
However, inside the climate-controlled Maple Maze, there was plenty of activity.
We've got 4 floors for the maze and a little toddler area, so all ages can come. It's for 12 and under, so come on in.
The North Pole-like weather is good for indoor play areas like the Maple Maze and can cause a spike in business.
It does pick up, yes, because it's just too cold to be outside. You don't want to be out in the bitter cold.
I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
And with wind chills ranging from 25 to 35 below zero, the National Weather Service is warning about covering up to prevent frostbite. The Weather Service says it can happen on exposed skin in as little as 15 minutes. Frostbite happens when ice crystals form in the soft tissues. If you do notice a tingling, burning sensation on your skin, get out of the cold right away. It can start with numbness and changes in color of the skin and can result in blisters in severe cases. Be sure to seek medical attention.
And as the temperature drops, a reminder that you're paying a little more to heat your home this season. Regulators have approved a natural gas rate increase of 5.4% for CenterPoint Energy, while they consider a request for a permanent hike. CenterPoint says it will use the money for pipeline replacements and other modernization projects. The full increase would add about $4.50 a month to a residential bill. A decision is expected next summer on that. You can weigh in next month at a public hearing, which is scheduled at the Golden Valley Library on January 24th.
Blood donations tend to drop during the holidays, but the Memorial Blood Centers have a sweet incentive for folks to roll up their sleeves and give.
So we're not at a critical point, but I think it's important to stress that blood doesn't take a holiday. So we look for our donors to step up and make sure that we can meet the needs of patients in area hospitals.
Memorial Blood Centers say many regular donors are out of town or just too busy to come in this time of year. So the organization is teaming up with Perkins restaurants to provide pies to people who donate on New Year's Eve. However, some folks like Mark Cadwell don't need prodding. Over the years, Mark has donated 20 gallons of blood.
I had a motorcycle accident in '79. I got a transfusion, and ever since that I thought, I could give it back. I just enjoy giving blood. I think it's worthwhile to give something back for the transfusion I got.
Normally, the St. Paul and Eden Prairie locations are closed on Sunday, but this New Year's Eve, they will be open.
The Red Cross is also asking you to give an hour of your time at blood donations this week. On Wednesday, blood drives are scheduled at Osseo City Hall and at Interfaith Outreach in Plymouth. On Thursday, there is one at the Walgreens on 85th Avenue in Brooklyn Park and at the Crystal VFW. And on Friday, there's a blood drive at the Rockford Road Library in Crystal. Well, if you're a homeowner, you know there is never a convenient time for something like a plumbing problem.
And in those moments, sometimes the person at the hardware store can save the day. A Robbinsdale hardware store owner has been helping people for more than 40 years. But as Shannon Slatton explains, he's now retiring.
Yeah, we fulfill a need here in the town.
When you walk inside a hardware store,
those were the best, yeah.
You are usually on a mission.
We're constantly selling parts, mainly for plumbing.
Something is broken.
I'm wondering if that's big enough for the handle.
It needs to be fixed.
And if we can't solve your problem, then we will try to find a place and someone who can.
Working at a hardware store means one-on-one problem solving every day, and no 2 days are alike.
So every day is different. Every day has got a different challenge, and you meet different people.
Dale Runke has seen it all in his 40-plus years in the hardware business.
They give you a screw and they say, I need 3 of these, and they don't know if it's metric or what size it is. So,
as the owner of Ace Hardware in Robbinsdale, he's helped people with projects of all kinds. He's made thousands of keys, and he will even fax a document if you need it.
Because if somebody doesn't know what they're looking for or they don't know what they need, they can come here and we have somebody that's can tell them what they need, and tell them how to use it. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't know.
Dale says the hardware business hasn't changed much, but technology has made it easier to help people who might have a problem.
We're trying to glue some things together
and don't know exactly how to fix it.
Now they're frustrated, especially with plumbing. And the advent of the new phones where they can take a picture, has really helped us.
Dale will retire soon, and employees say all along he's emphasized the role of a local hardware store is simple: be friendly, be helpful.
He was very, very public-centered, and as he said, that's the one thing that separates us from bigger stores.
That's Dale. He wants this to be a friendly, family sort of place.
In Robbinsdale, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Dale's last day on the job will be January 2nd. He doesn't have any concrete plans for retirement yet, but he does plan on taking some warm weather vacations. And don't worry, the new owners plan to keep Ace Hardware open in downtown Robbinsdale. Still ahead on CCX News, teaching with a science and technology theme. We'll take a look in our school spotlight.
Plus, the Armstrong-Cooper boys hockey team is coming on strong as they get set for the second half of the season.
But first, bitter cold temperatures stick around for a while. The forecast is coming up. In our school spotlight today, Weaver Lake Elementary Science, Math, and Technology is a national award-winning magnet school.
The teachers and staff pride themselves in giving students the tools they need to succeed. The reporter Sonia Goins takes a look in today's school spotlight.
Every day is new and exciting.
At Weaver Lake Elementary Science, Math, and Technology, students learn by getting some hands-on experience.
Kids are going to need to be creative problem solvers. We don't need them to just regurgitate information.
Principal Dennis Palm says there's one common principle everything centers around.
Here at Weaver Lake, it's what's the big idea? So inquire, discover, explore, and achieve.
In this experiment, we need to keep track of time.
This group of fourth graders are using their iPads to compare computer power versus brain power. Students are trying to determine how long it will take a range of motion to travel from the shoulder to the head and then to the ankle to the head.
For some reason I thought the ankle was going to be faster, but then the shoulder was faster because it was closer to our brain.
Children get the same basic rigorous courses as everyone else in the Osseo School District. The only difference is at Weaver Lake, everything they do has a science and technology component to it.
Do we think all these children are going to grow up and be scientists and engineers? Probably not. The biggest goal of our school is to teach children the joy of learning.
Students also engage in what's known as value-added STEM projects. This is where students investigate and explore the world around them.
What did I tell you was your goal today for your glider to do?
This class is working on engineer design and experimenting with gliders.
First few times we did it, it didn't work because it didn't land upright, it landed upside down.
But after a few adjustments to the wings, they got it right.
We used the elliptical wings and the rectangular stabilizer.
Students are not only practicing science, they're living it. Weaver Lake has an innovative recycling program. The school received a $12,000 grant from Hennepin County to buy a sorting table for the lunchroom. It allows students to throw away waste using color-coded bins. Since the program started, officials have seen a huge reduction in waste.
What we've done is reduced our waste by like 80%, which is awesome. So I think about the amount of garbage we were throwing into landfills, and now today, because we're recycling, we're composting, we're throwing that much less waste away.
What are some really cool things that you do on the internet?
Teachers and staff say if they can get students to love learning, they've done their jobs.
I see kids exploring, asking great questions, and being excited about learning. That's what makes it fun.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Games you guys do.
Weaver Lake Elementary Science, Math, and Technology was named one of the nation's top 3 elementary STEM schools in 2015. Well, coming up later, a way to laugh off the cold in January.
But first, most local hockey and basketball teams are in holiday tournaments this week, and some got an early start. We'll have highlights from the Wayzata Breck boys basketball matchup. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Holiday tournaments in prep basketball and hockey will fill up the calendars for several local teams this week. A handful of small 4-team tourneys took place before Christmas. The Breck and Wayzata boys basketball teams met at the Hutton Winter Classic at Hamlin University. Mustangs' David Roddy, tough to defend in the paint. He gets a rebound and put back here to give the Mustangs a 1-point first half lead. Trojans on the run. Jacob Benega ahead to Cody Williams for the layup and foul. Williams scores 9 points in the game. The Trojans force a turnover here, and Camden Heidi passes ahead to Drew Gallinson for the lay-in. Gallinson, 104 Wayzata players to score in double figures. Great entry pass from Theo Walther to Connor Hale for the layup and one. Wayzata builds an 11-point lead at halftime, 38-27. Second half, it's Roddy back to work again on the inside, scoring 2 more off an offensive rebound. He leads all scorers with 25 points. Joey Ganley slices across the lane and hits the jumper for Breck. They rally. That basket gets the Mustangs within a point. But the Trojans pull this one out and hit some big free throws late, including 2 from Benega as Wayzata wins 70-62. The Trojans play Maple Grove in the St. Thomas tournament Wednesday night at 6:15. Hopkins beat previously unbeaten Minnehaha Academy in the final of the Augsburg tournament. The Redhawks are ranked number 1 in Class 2A. The Royals ranked 3rd in Class 4A. The Maranatha Christian Academy boys basketball team has a new head coach and some new players this season. After a slow start, the Mustangs seem to be getting into stride now as the MCA at home to face St. Agnes in a non-conference game. And a good start for Maranatha. Mustangs sophomore Hakim Daniels hits from the corner to help them jump out to an 8-0 lead. Clarence Daniels with a nice move gets to the hoop and scores. Maranatha increases its lead to 16-4. A steal for MCA leads to a fast break and a dunk for senior Bijan Newbern. Newbern had a big night, and the Mustangs, under new head coach Robert Ware, lead 38-24 at halftime. The Aggies' Marcus Johnson helps keep his team within striking distance. He scores 27 points in the game. St. Agnes is within 11. But they get no closer than that. Makai Harut scores 2 of his 9 points to extend the Maranatha lead. And Newbern makes 3 3-pointers and scores 26 points in the game. Maranatha wins 73-58. The Mustangs are now 4-3 on the season. After an up-and-down start, the Armstrong-Cooper boys hockey team seems to be finding its stride. Jason Malillo reports on the Wings.
Following a hard-fought tie with Maple Grove on December 7th, The Armstrong-Cooper boys hockey team won 3 of 4 games heading into the winter break.
A lot of energy came out of that. We had a lot of young guys in the team this year who hasn't really played much varsity hockey, and for them to realize that we're a good team and we tie a quality team like Maple Grove with a state tournament appearance, it was a really big deal for them or whatever to realize that we can do some big things this year.
I think the expectation arose, you know, when you play well against an opponent that, let's say, is superior, right, on paper, and we elevated our compete level and we did the right things. I think that when you keep a game as close as we did, that gives us confidence for sure that we can hang, and ever since then our players have really kind of bought into what we're trying to teach.
The Wings have firepower for sure, led by senior captain Jack Gergen, who's one of the top scorers in the state.
Just the chances have been going my way. My line mate's been giving me the puck. I've been putting the puck in the net when I had the opportunity to.
AC also has a good core of mobile defensemen who are good with the puck. For the Wings' progression to continue, the backliners will have to be in sync.
You know, with those defensemen able to carry the puck up, whatever, and it helps our forwards create plays and create offense for the whole team, for that fourth man into the zone and everything. It gives us more confidence, you know, to maybe try to go for a break, because you know if the D's back there moving around, they can hold onto the puck, control it, make a good pass if the guy's open.
So far, inconsistency is the Wings' biggest challenge, but they know finding a groove and continuing to get better in the new year could make them a dangerous team come playoff time. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
The Wings are off until January 4th when they host Coon Rapids. That's all for sports. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. They are making plans for entertainment in the new year at the new Brookview in Golden Valley.
And it is designed to make you laugh. We'll be right back.
And finally, laughter may be the best medicine of all for the winter deep freeze.
And mark your calendars for January 26th when Golden Valley's brand new Brookview hosts a comedy debut show with national headliner Bent Washburn. The comedian loves to poke fun at the spelling of his name.
It's B-E-N-G-T, Swedish name, Swedish, because I am from Utah. I know, doesn't make sense. It is bent. We say bent. In Sweden, you would actually pronounce the G. It would be banked. But here in Mapleton, Utah, where I grew up, they never pronounce the G, which is how I get my street name, Silent G.
He has appeared on Conan and Comedy Central, but on January 26th, Bent Washburn will be in Golden Valley for comedy at Brookview. The night also can include dinner as well as the comedy show, and there is the link if you would like to reserve your seats. So
his name is Bent. I don't know how to say that.
Bent. He's good. I have seen him before. He is a good performer. That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again Wednesday starting at 4.